Welcome to the Careerfluencer podcast. This is Rachel. I'm a wedding planner currently based out of Dallas, Texas. I'm so excited to share my experience with everyone, partially also because I was a Careerfluencer listener as well, and it was the little push I needed to start my business. I think a lot of what people miss out on in their jobs is just remembering like being excited to go to work. I think is the easiest gauge to tell if this is the right fit or not. Your gut is more intuitive than most people give themselves credit for. And for me, I enjoyed events, and it did take a lot of reflection and time to really figure out, especially at that first job in events that I got. It took a lot of time for me to dissect which parts I did like and which parts I didn't like. And I still didn't get it right the first time because I went into another job that still wasn't quite what I was looking for. At my first events job, the event execution part was fun and all. I didn't have to do it for very long, thankfully, before getting promoted. And then from there, it was, the venue I was working at was very high volume. I was doing 150 events a year. That ranged from corporate to weddings to birthday parties, anniversary parties, all kinds of things. So I was doing a lot. The volume was intense. And for me, I'm a very quality over quantity person. I'd rather put my heart and soul into 2 events in a year rather than do 150. And that was very eye-opening for me, realizing, okay, it's not the job itself that I'm struggling with. I still like events. I still love that feeling at the end of the day when I get a bride who gives me a hug at the end of the night and is like, oh my God, we couldn't have done this without you. I still loved working with the vendors and the people in the industry. It was still fun for me. For me at that point, though, the volume was just a bit too much, and I wanted to have a personal life still and wanted to see my husband and my mom, who I don't live too far away from, go on trips and travel. That's really important to me. So I could feel like that was something that was compromising how I was feeling about everything else in my life. So that was definitely a big one. I think it just involves really dissecting all the aspects of your job and deciding, okay, is this something that I can live with? Is this something that makes me happy or unhappy? And figuring out what it is about those things that you want to change, and then just change it. I had fixed the volume problem, which I thought was the main thing. I hadn't quite fixed the quality level that I really wanted. I really wanted to have more of a hands-on approach to my clients when I moved to the second venue. It took me a little while for that to kind of hit as well. Those clients that I had that I really connected with, I lived for the days when they would ask for my opinion on something. And the further into that one I got, I just realized, okay, I really want to be involved from point A to point B, all the way from beginning to end. It was a hard thing to kind of realize because I had just left one job and moved into another job. And I think it hits your pride a little bit in that it's okay, again, I feel like I'm supposed to be doing this and I should be doing this and I shouldn't be feeling this way. You can't help how you feel. And I think a lot of people just get caught up in that, and you just got to realize, okay, these are the things I just need to change to make this job what I want it to be. And there's nothing wrong with that. And I think a lot of people don't get told that enough, honestly. My family was always really supportive of me doing events. My mom had seen me plan certain things, even at a younger age, and she'd always said, "Oh, you're gonna be a planner." I was like, "Okay," but when you're in that college setting and everyone around you is going into these big corporate jobs and you go to a really big school, the expectation feels like, okay, I should be going into something bigger than what I thought, like bigger than what I was thinking I was wanting to get into. And I think I kind of let myself get swept up in the what I should be doing versus what I really wanted to do. I mean, my degree was in corporate communications, and I didn't really know what kind of job you get that with. It was somewhere kind of a hybrid between, they told me HR and PR. Very corporate driven though. And it was more of a general thing for me. That wasn't what really excited me. But it was a degree. It was at a school I loved. But when it came down to, okay, I'm a senior, I'm about to graduate, what am I going to do? It was kind of a panic mode for me. And I think that's when I decided, okay, I've been ducking my head down, grinding for so long from high school to college. I've worked so hard, but like, what have I actually done? I mean, not that getting a college degree isn't a huge accomplishment. It is. But I wanted to feel like I had seen something bigger than myself and I'd done something bigger than myself. So that's kind of where the drive took me to just do something very different and very random and try to find myself and figure out what I really wanted to do. Because I could feel myself getting into this situation where, okay, I get swept up in something that I don't actually enjoy. And I'm one of those people that if I'm not enjoying what I'm doing, I'm not doing it well. And I knew that about myself. So I did want to make sure that what I did end up doing was something that I enjoyed, because I know that anything that I'm not putting my heart into, I'm just not doing it 100%. And that's something that's very important to me. I don't think there was one specific moment for me where I really realized, okay, this is what I want to do. I did have a really influx kind of start to my career where I was waffling with teaching or if I was going to go into events. I had a minor in psychology, which is completely random from the major of corporate communications that I had too. But I think a lot of when I realized I wanted to really go into events was I was teaching English in Thailand for a year and I enjoyed it, but I didn't see it as the thing that like was really driving me and making me want to go to work every single day. And that's what I craved. I really wanted to find something and do something that I really enjoyed. So, that whole year that I was there was amazing and it was very eye-opening. And I think it taught me a lot about how to deal with people from different cultures and different walks of life. I was literally on the other side of the world. So I think that was probably the biggest growth period for me and kind of opened my eyes to realizing I was on the path that I wanted to be all along. I did want to start an event since I was younger, and then it was something that I had kind of left and got distracted from, thinking that maybe that wasn't what I wanted to do. And then after that time period of teaching, it was like, okay, no, this is what I'm being called to do. This is what I really enjoy. This is what makes me happy. This is what makes me excited to go to work every day. And it's a really neat job to be involved in weddings and events. It's a really important day for people. And it's a very emotional day as well. But it's really neat to, even for that small moment in their lives, you really get to be part of something very important to them. That moment at those events when you see all of your hard work over the past year and a half come together in one big completed vision is so fulfilling for me, at least. Yes, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of stress. For me, I think it's fun stress, if there is such a thing. It's all one big puzzle. It's figuring out, okay, the band needs to start at this time, but we need to do dinner at this time. And how do we fit these couches into this space correctly so that people aren't tripping over? And it's every element is a puzzle. And when you really get to see the big picture at the end, that's very rewarding. But even more so is your clients saying, like, this is exactly what we envisioned and this is exactly what we wanted. Them telling you that on the biggest day of their lives in most cases, or some cases, I guess, is just so rewarding. And that's what that's what I get out of bed for every day. Everything I do is to make sure that at the end of each couple's journey or whoever it is, they're like, that was money well spent. That was worth our time, our energy. That was worth everything that we've gone through over this past year. And it's mostly because we had this person that we could go to that had this knowledge and expertise and made it so much easier. As far as like talking to someone that would be kind of in my shoes several years ago, it's tough because I do believe that like without I'm very happy and grateful for the foundation that I have. Getting to start where I did and going through that period of not knowing what to do, I think got me at a great point to where I am today. But I mean, for all of those younger people, oh gosh, I'm old I'm saying younger people, for all of those kids still in college going through that time where you're just not sure what you want to do, or if you're in something and you don't know if it is what you want to do, start very basic. Like, look at what it is you think you might be interested in, find something or somebody that's involved in it already or in it, even if they're not like the top dog in their industry. Just start opening that line of communication and just getting an idea of, okay, what would I really be getting into if this was something I wanted to switch to? Some professions, mine included, look very glamorous and fun on the outside, and then you get into the nitty gritty and then they end up not being for the faint of heart. But just starting literally at the very beginning, any step in the right direction, no matter how small, is still progress. So for me, I think the one thing I'd say in my case, if I were to go back and talk to myself, I would just say, just remember what makes you happy and what you enjoy. Like, don't feel like this is what's going to make you the most money. If money is important to you, well, then yes, go for it. But as far as, if what you want to do and what you want your career to look like is based on what makes you happy and what you're passionate about, then just be really introspective and understand what it is that you want. And then just take the baby steps from there, one step at a time. That's honestly the advice I give myself every day. It's just one day at a time, one step at a time, and then take the rest as it comes.